Hello, everyone, and welcome to the 2 a.m. radio. My name is Rodeo Brito, and today is episode 8. We are joined by the one and only digital creator, the sonic traveler, ultimate dreamer. Ladies and gentlemen, please put your clap emojis together for none other than Lazaro.
Hey
How are
everybody,
you, man?
thanks for having me.
Thanks for coming. I'm really excited, and like I was just saying, I apologize to everybody on here if the sound seems a little weird. I'm sitting in my car, and there's like a thunderstorm going on outside, so apologies for that. So
I
let's get
don't hear
into
it.
it.
I don't
You
hear
don't
it,
hear it?
so don't worry. Yo,
Oh,
don't
okay.
worry.
Awesome, awesome, awesome. All right. So you have a magnificent piece called Nirvana, right? Minted
Yeah,
on Super.
thank you.
Yeah, man. What does Nirvana mean to you?
Nirvana is something that I aim to reach, spiritually and mentally. So with that piece, I just wanted to represent what I think, what I feel is my main goal in life actually, to be able to get to a point where you feel at peace with the world around you, with your life actually. You see in that piece, everything around the main character is very very flashy, and I wanted just to give it this sense of things moving fast around, but the main character is peaceful.
Right.
It's really calm, and yeah, the usual yoga pose, and
And are
I'm really attracted by all those Buddhism and Zen cults and really philosophy.
wow. And are you a Buddhist?
Excuse me? No, no. Actually, I don't call myself a Buddhist, but I'm attracted by by that culture
Mm,
and the philosophy behind it. It really attracts me, and I resonate with it in a way. But I would need to study it a lot more before I can call myself a Buddhist.
yeah, because when I look at the piece, it's not something you see often, right? Like somebody
Hmm.
meditating at the center, this massive hologram.
It's pretty
Yeah,
odd, but I like the contrast. You see,
yeah,
uh, I always try to have a little contrast in my pieces, whether it's some old versus new, which I often do, or something like this, peaceful element and a very chaotic city behind it. So I
yeah,
like to play with contrast a lot.
yeah. That's interesting. I didn't even know that. Think about that. The contradiction between peace and a city, which represents movement, stress,
Yeah,
and all kinds of
exactly,
crazy.
exactly. That's the point.
Oh wow, really interesting. Do you feel like art is a way to reach nirvana?
Oh, absolutely, it's my main way to reach it. Art for me is just like that. It's an escape from reality that many times, at least for me, can be pretty stressful. So art helps me to keep balance with my mind and my well-being in general. So yeah,
Wow.
art definitely can help with that, in my opinion.
Would you say that art is a form of meditation as well when you're creating, or you like
Oh yeah,
somewhere else?
totally, totally. Art is meditation for me. Meditation is just like that, clearing your mind of all those thoughts and stuff that day-to-day life puts on you. Our minds are always gotta do that, I gotta do this. It's always like that, and art actually is a meditating form for me, because when you, at least for me, when I make art, my mind is clear. I'm focused, I'm just doing my thing, I'm in my world, imagining and dreaming stuff, and my mind is clear when I do that. So in some way, I'm meditating when I do art.
Is it a bit of a, because you do art on the computer and the computer has a lot of distractions. Like, how do you focus this hard? Like, you know what
Yeah,
I'm saying?
that can be pretty hard. That can be pretty
Yeah.
hard. Computer indeed can be distracting at times. I try to keep when I'm working. I try to keep everything closed. No Twitter, no Instagram, etc. But
Well,
I have to admit, sometimes I get distracted. It happens, but it's okay.
yeah. Yeah, you kind of remind me of what's his name? George R. Martin. He has this old
Yeah,
computer he uses to write, so he doesn't get distracted by.
that's a
other-
good way to do it.
Yeah, right. We get this
If
old
I
ass
could
computer.
work with no internet, I will do it. But I need the internet to work.
Yeah, totally, totally. That would, yeah. I totally understand because when I work on my art as well, you just a second later you're on Twitter and you're like, wait, what just happened?
Yeah, some notifications pop up, and yeah, the focus is gone. I know how it feels.
Exactly. You're out of your nirvana, right?
Yeah, you're out of the nirvana. Exactly. It
So
happens. It happens. That's the way it is.
so how did you find your style, man?
Well, there are many influences, many artists, Dan Jutz, Maxey, Daniel Liang. There are many artists that I really look up to, and movies as well. You might be able to see Blade Runner influences, of course, and anime as well. Ghost in the Shell, Akira, and actually there are many influences for my style. Even many times I go on Pinterest and just spend hours looking at the amazing art that you can find there. And there are many great artists that are doing this style. So yeah, influences come every day for me, and I don't think I invented anything. I mean, I'm just another guy doing cyberpunk, but I love it. I love it very much, and that's what I like to do. That's what I like to imagine, to dream, and I'm very happy when I see that other people vibe with what I make.
And were you always a dreamer?
I think so. Yes, I've always been, and I'm still today a big dreamer. Sometimes I dream too much. I think it's a problem when you dream too much. You lose contact with the reality.
There's no such thing, man. You can't drink too much.
That's a good way to see it, actually. Yeah, dreaming
Yeah,
is great. No,
yeah,
don't get me wrong. Dreaming is great, and you need to dream to live a better life. That's for sure. But keep contact with reality, and sometimes dreams can really take you off. So you gotta be careful with it. But yeah,
yeah,
I'm a big dreamer.
yeah. Because when I looked at, yeah, I found your art. I kind of it kind of reminded, how do I say this, of me and myself when I was a kid, and I used to wonder what the future would look like,
Oh yeah,
right?
definitely. And it's great. It's great to know this. It's great that you resonated with my art in
Oh,
that
yeah.
way. That's my
Yeah,
main goal, actually, to be able to move people, to make them feel something, make them dream.
yeah.
That's
That's what
great.
great art does. Yeah.
I'm very happy about it. Very happy to hear it.
So, have you always watched movies and anime? Like, were you always somebody that was really passionate about that kind of stuff?
Yeah, I'm the nerd, the usual nerd. Video games, movies, all that stuff. Yeah, I'm addicted.
Yeah, that's amazing. Really, really awesome sources, because I feel
Yeah,
like
it's endless.
exactly, right? When you look at what those guys did by hand, I mean, shit, man,
Yeah,
like,
it's unbelievable, unbelievable.
right? When I see your pieces, I could see the link between Akira and Ghost in the Shell, which are two very complicated animes. So,
And
Very
that's
interesting.
amazing that you can see that, because I mean, those are some godlike, god level artistic creations. So to me, it's an honor to be, even to be compared to such masterpieces. You know.
Oh yeah, definitely, definitely, because it feels like your work is the next step into that
Oh, thank you,
world.
man.
Yeah,
Thank
no,
you, thank you.
it's
It
honestly.
really means a lot for me.
So most of your artworks are strongly inspired by cities and cyberpunk environments, obviously.
Yeah.
Why is that? What is it about these places that make them so intriguing to you, though?
I don't really know what it is about cities that attracts me, but in some ways, I find cities are intimate places, even with their chaotic nature. I love to find the intimacy in it. Look at those little windows, maybe try to grasp some little slices of life, of ordinary life. And there are infinite lives in a urban environment. There are millions of people many times in big cities, and you can have this endless flow of life in many different forms. And I really like to imagine all those little, not little, all those lives, all those people doing their thing in this immense environment. And it's really, yeah, it's a dream that attracts me. I like when I dream of that. I dream of cities most of the time, and I love cities. I think I wouldn't live outside of a big urban environment. I'm not one of those guys that likes to live in nature and outside of far from civilization. I love the noise. I love the traffic. I love all this kind of the stuff that usually people hate about cities. I love it.
Yeah, that's the yeah. Most that's interesting. Most people. I'm just like you, man. I love it, but most people would say the metro smells like shit. It's
Yeah,
tight. You're right.
and you see, the strange thing is, I get mad as well. I get mad too with my when I'm in the traffic, when I'm jammed. I obviously get mad, but in the end, I like it. I like my life to be like that.
That's good. That's really good. So do you feel like you like the contact of other people? You like imagining what their stories might be, what their day might be, what their
Yeah,
lives might be
I
like?
like to imagine all those stuff, all that stuff. And I'm kind of an introvert person, so I think that's another reason why I'm attracted to cities. I like to imagine what I could be if I were different. Um, I'm not I'm not a very how do you say it? I'm a very solitary guy, you know. And many times I find myself thinking, "Oh, what would be like if I had um, different social life, if I were more active socially, what would it be?" So I like to imagine this. I don't know how to say it. It's really hard to put in words what I feel when I think about the stuff that I create, because it really comes from deep inside me. And it's like trying to describe your dreams. Sometimes you really don't know how to describe what you dream, why you dream it. It just comes out by itself.
Wow. So I kind of see your art like a love letter to the
Oh, that's
city,
amazing. That's amazing. Yeah, a
right?
love letter to cities.
Right.
You could see it like that. Yes, because I love cities. Uh, That's the right
Yet
term.
yet
That's the
you
right
can't
word.
you don't feel comfortable enough to interact with the city? Like,
Yeah, it's almost like that. Yeah, I don't feel totally comfortable when I'm outside. I'm I'm more comfortable in front of my computer and trying to create those cities and make some of my characters live those.
it's fascinating because you're the real definition of an artist. You know, like,
Oh,
um, yeah, man. Because we, as artists, we all kind of suffer from this type of introversy, that
yeah,
anxiety we feel, right? Because
yeah,
we feel so much. You know, that's what I think.
exactly. That's the point.
Right.
That's the point.
So I feel like a large part of your work, just like you were saying, it has very personal titles and relatable names like Stand By Me, Our Last Night,
Yeah,
Disconnected.
yeah.
Yeah. Do you draw from your
I
own life?
think yeah, I think titles are a big part of the art piece. Many times the title can help the viewer look at the artwork with a certain kind of lens. It helps. It also helps the viewer to know what was the intention behind it. But at the same time, I don't want the viewer to feel forced at a certain kind of interpretation. I want the viewer to be able to see whatever they feel in my pieces. So yeah, with the title, I tell you how I feel it, but it's not something like you have to feel it like the same way I feel it. You can see whatever you want in my pieces,
Music.
and maybe it's something totally different, and
So
that's fine.
is that why some of your pieces feature silhouettes, shadows, the people to the
Yeah, the human element is really important for me because I think it helps you put yourself in the scene. It makes it more, yeah, more human. Otherwise, I mean, if it were just big cityscapes, I wouldn't be able to tell those stories if I didn't put in some human elements, something that helps you really be grounded in it. I don't know if that makes sense.
Yeah, no, that makes total sense because when I looked at Stand By Me, what I found interesting,
Yeah.
and I'm talking from memory, I hope I'm not talking about the wrong one, but I think it was two shadows, right? It looked like, is that my right one? Did I get the right one? I hope so. So
Sorry,
yeah, he went.
I lost you. I lost you for a bit. I lost you for a bit.
Oh, sorry. Can you hear me now?
You were, yeah.
Can you hear me?
It's kind of disturbed at the moment. I think.
Oh, disconnecting a little
Okay,
bit.
now I hear you.
Yeah,
Yeah, sometimes it
yeah.
disconnects. Now I hear you. You were
Apologies.
saying sorry.
Yeah. Oh
No
no, I was
worries. No
talking about
worries.
your piece, "Stand by Me."
Yeah.
I think it a shadow, a silhouette of a son and a father together, right? Um,
I thought about it as two brothers actually.
two bro.
It was
See,
inspired. Yeah, yeah. It was inspired by me and my brother actually. My brother moved to a new home last month
oh,
with his girlfriend, and it was kind of a hard time for me because we live together, always live together. So it was a bit sad, to having to let him go and live his life. And I feel I wanted to do a piece about me and my brother, and that's why I chose those characters. I like to think about it as me and my brother when we were kids, and having those big dreams actually. But as I was saying before, you can see it whatever you feel in the piece. You don't have to look at it and think, "Oh, those are two brothers." Maybe you can see it, father and a son, and that's perfectly fine.
Yeah, that's what. See, that's why I got excited because that's that. Yeah, you. That's what's so great about your piece. The way I saw it, in reality, the way you see it is completely different.
Exactly, you see. And that's what I love about art in general. Each one of us is different and we resonate in different ways. And that's the beauty of it.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, that's what great art is, right? 'Cause in your work, Disconnected, which you minted in 2021, you
Yeah,
say in a future that is always connected, smart, and everything you want is obtainable through money, it has become easier than ever to feel alone, and a real
yeah.
human connection seems to be the rarest thing to find. Today is the future. Would you say that description is relevant today?
Actually, absolutely. When I when I made that piece, it was kind of how do you say, a critic to our present day. I feel like, yeah, I feel like our society tends to be isolating, alienating sometimes, and it's because of technology. I love technology, but at the same time, I think that it can be difficult to keep the balance with it sometimes. It's very easy to get lost with it, and spend many hours alone with your computer on socials. And yeah, you are having connections on socials, that's for sure, but you're losing contact with life outside. When we say go out and touch some grass, many times you hear that, especially in Web3, and that's something very important for me. You have to go outside and touch some grass sometimes. It's for your health, for your mental health, and that's what the piece is about. Our society tends to be, it's always connected. You can have anything, everything, anytime. You can watch everything you want, you can buy everything you want. You don't have to move from home. You can stay in your room for days and days and days. You can order food, you can order shoes, you can talk to friends and never go outside. And that's dangerous. I think it can be dangerous.
So would you say that, well, do you fear technology?
I don't fear technology, but I think you have to be careful with it.
Yeah.
Technology can be our biggest ally, but also our biggest enemy.
Mm. Yeah, because we have to be really careful not to fall into that rabbit hole, right? Where we lose
Exactly.
what makes us, right?
Exactly.
Makes us human, right? How do you feel
Yes,
about
that's right.
AI?
I love AI. I love AI, but as before, you have to be careful with it. These days, there is this there's this controversy around AI. Even myself, I got called a liar on Reddit because people think that my art is AI. So they were telling me, "Oh, you're a liar. You don't make this with your hand. You're just stealing from other artists with AI."
What?
Yeah, yeah, it's crazy, man. It's crazy out there. But I have to say, I don't hate AI, not a bit. I actually really am attracted by it. I feel it's a great tool if used properly, and it can greatly enhance the artistic work for everybody.
How do you handle that? How do you handle people saying negative things about your art that's not true? What do you
Just
respond to
ignore
that?
them. Just ignore them.
Just ignore, huh?
I don't feel it's worth losing your time with people that don't want to understand, because that's what it's about. Many people don't want to understand. When something this new comes out, it's threatening for many people, so they just throw shit at it, and it's you're losing time talking with them.
Yeah.
It's not worth it.
Do you feel, are you scared that, I don't know, are you scared that one day your art is going to end up in somebody's AI? Is that something you're scared of or not?
Not really, not really, because at the end I know that it's just me. Only I can do artworks like mine. I mean, those are my artworks, and I'm the only one who can make them. It's not something. It's not like I'm saying I'm the best 3D artist out there. No, I'm just saying my artworks can be done by me and anybody else, and nobody else.
Yeah.
Whether
Yeah, cuz
those are used by an AI generator, that's good for me.
oh,
I
you
don't
see
have
it as a good,
problems with it.
yeah. Cuz what I see in your art that maybe a machine would have a hard time reproducing is the soul, man. It's the story,
Exactly, exactly.
right?
Yeah,
And
just like that. I
yeah,
mean, obviously AI can make a cityscape in 1 second. That's for sure. But that's not a problem. That's not an issue for me because yeah, it can maybe AI can make a cityscapes that probably better than the ones I make, but it wouldn't be mine. It would be something else, something similar, but not the same.
here's a question for you. Would you enjoy living in these worlds you created? You know, would that be something you want to experience?
I'd be interested in it. I don't know if I'd want to live in it, but I would try definitely. I'm curious. I would be curious.
Yeah, because when I look at your art, I wonder, what's going on further,
Yeah,
What's the story behind this? What's the city? What's going on? What's happening?
yeah. That's what I try to make you curious about it when you look at it.
Amazing. So, was there ever a piece you found really challenging to make when you were like, "Oh, this is really hard"?
Almost every piece, every
Really?
piece. Yeah, everyone had its own challenges because with Blender, which is the software that I use, you never know what's gonna go wrong. But
Oh
there's
yeah.
always something that goes wrong and makes it hard to go ahead with the piece. So yeah,
Yeah,
everyone is challenging in some ways.
yeah. 3D art, man. People, if you're outside of 3D art, you can't imagine how difficult it is, right?
Yeah.
When the computer's constantly crashing,
Yeah,
save shit.
computer
You're like,
can
oh,
really be your enemy when you do 3D art.
yeah. It must be really tough, man. Really,
You
really
have to
hard.
be very patient with it.
Do
A
you
lot
feel
of
like
patience.
patience? Do you feel like patience is something important to you when you're creating them?
Yeah, absolutely. Especially when you work with computers and 3D art, you have to be patient because otherwise you just take your PC and throw it out the window in a second.
Yeah, I know exactly what you're talking about, man.
Yeah,
You have a lot of colors and lights in your art, but how did you
yeah.
decide which colors to use? Like, where does that come from?
I think I have some my favorite colors which I often use, which you can tell are blue and teal, but also red, pink. Usually, I start with the base color. It can be oftentimes it's blue, sometimes it's orange, and then I go from there. I know the basics of color theory, so I know what goes with blue, what goes with orange, and I choose like that. But many times it can change as I work further in the piece. So maybe I start with blue and then decide that I have to shift to something else, maybe red, maybe orange.
Interesting. So you're not stuck on one idea. You're constantly evolving when it comes to your colors and your technique.
I try to experiment a bit. I oftentimes find myself um, a bit lazy with colors, so I have to force myself out of my comfort zone because if it was for me, I would always do teal, orange and teal, red and teal. But I know it's good to experiment some other colors. So I'm trying to work a bit more with that.
Fascinating. So what are your thoughts on the NFT world, man? How do you see everything that's going on?
Oh, it's I love the NFT world. I'm very hyped about it. I think it's an amazing thing that happened for the art world in general. It has its flaws, obviously, but we are just at the beginning, so there's plenty of time to improve on that side. And I think in many ways it already improved a lot, even in the last year. You see, the focus is more and more on the art itself and not on trading. And I think bear market helped with that,
Oh yeah.
bring back the focus on art, and that's amazing. That's great.
Oh yeah, yeah, yeah. Are you a big PFP guy or just one on ones?
Not really. I'm more from one on ones, obviously, as an artist. But I like the PFP world.
Yeah, it's interesting about what you were saying. I totally agree, and I felt the same way. That in some way the bull market, the bear market. Sorry,
Yeah, yeah,
the bear market, not the. I get
yeah,
too bulls, bears. What the fuck?
yeah, yeah. I got you.
Yeah. It kind of filtered out the fake artists, right? It
Yeah, I
kind of
cleaned it up.
exactly.
That's right.
Yeah, that's proof. You're still here. You're still building. Are you still minting at the moment?
I'm planning more means for the future. Yeah, I had an open edition not too much ago, 2 weeks ago, I think. So I'm planning something new in the coming weeks. I'm still planning, but yeah, definitely I'm minting new stuff very soon.
So how do you feel about minting? Do you think artists should mint as much as possible or as little as possible?
I think artists should do whatever they feel.
Hmm.
There's no such thing as too much minting, not too much minting. You can mint whatever you feel. I think artists are the one to have to decide what to do with their art and how to sell it, how to promote it. It's up to them.
So yeah, you don't feel like there should be any rules in art, right?
Yeah, exactly, exactly. Art should be free.
So imagine you found a time machine, right? But
Yeah,
you could only go backwards or forward. Would you travel into the future or travel into the past?
probably into the past. I'm very curious about many, many things. I think I would just lose myself in the past.
That's interesting. Which year would you go to?
I would first go to the Titanic, I think, because I'm really
Oh,
passionate about it.
really?
Yeah, but there are many, many things that I would just that I'd be die to see. The pyramids, and yeah, Twin Towers. That's sad, but I would love to go back and see those because I never had the chance, unfortunately.
That's interesting.
And yeah, many, many things. I would go back and talk to Leonardo if I could. Leonardo da Vinci,
Yeah. Yeah,
But yeah,
because
going back in time is a big dream of myself.
really,
Yeah, yeah, definitely.
that's super interesting because your artwork is so based on the possibility of the future. I
Yeah,
would
it's
never.
odd, really. It's odd. I dream about the future, but I would go back in the past if I had a time machine. That's really odd. That's strange.
Why?
I'm crazy, I'm crazy.
As like you said, there's no rules, right? You
Yeah,
know. So, but why the Titanic, man? What about the Titanic that makes it so
I
interesting?
don't know, man. I'm just every time I see the Titanic, I get lost. I spend hours and hours watching videos and reading stuff about it. I'm just so passionate about it. I don't know what is it about it that attracts me so much. So yeah, I think the Titanic really had um, this kind of I don't know how to say it. The Titanic was the biggest point of human of human dreams back then.
Mm,
You know, it was the biggest ship ever built at the time. It was the biggest dream. Men really felt like they were becoming gods at the time. It was
mm,
the Belle Epoque, and I don't know. Maybe it's just that it was this great ship, the most luxurious that man ever saw, the biggest one, and it went down just like that. It's like nature told humans, "Okay, you think you're God. Now let me tell you something. You're not God. It takes two
mm.
hours. It takes 2 hours to put you down on the bottom of the sea. When you play to be God, you hurt yourself. That's kind of the lesson that humans have to learn back then. That's a very sad story, a very tragic story.
That's a fascinating way to look at it because the truth is I'm just as obsessed with Titanic as you. So
Oh, you really? You see,
yeah, man,
it's
obsessed.
inevitable.
It's amazing. I think it's what you were saying. It's the idea of a dream, right? This
Yeah,
massive dream, right?
massive dream, exactly.
And people playing as God is so true. It's insane because
Yeah,
uh, how can you decide who gets to live and die, right? Like
exactly,
you're poor, you
exactly.
can't, right?
You have to
And
remember we're just men at the end. We
exactly,
never have to forget about it. We're just men. This is not our planet. We live here, but it's not our planet. And I think it's a very actual problem with the climatic crisis, etc. So it's more important today than it was before, actually, to remember that we are just humans. We have to have respect for the planet, for nature, and remember that we are not God. We cannot play with that stuff. We have to have respect, to treat it carefully and take care of it.
wow. Do you when you make your artwork, do you keep God in mind? Is that something you think about?
No, actually not. I'm a spiritual person, but I'm not that religious, if you know what I mean. I'm very
Right.
spiritual, meaning that I really believe there's something else outside of our bodies. I believe in the soul. I believe in the afterlife, but I'm not that kind of a religious person. I don't believe in God strictly, in God the way Catholic Church likes to portray it.
Yeah.
But I believe in a superior mind.
Mm.
That I believe.
I mean, you see it in your artwork, right? I mean, kind of it's its own universe and what
Yeah,
God is the universe. So
yeah,
you're speaking the truth, man. When you say I don't believe in God in a way you're saying because you can't believe in something that massive, right?
yeah. Exactly. You just have to live it. God
Exactly.
is the entire universe, and that's very Buddhist. Again, talking about Buddhism, you see why I'm very attracted by that kind of philosophy. To me,
Yeah.
God is more about the universe itself.
Hmm. Yeah, because I totally agree with you on this. Men have used religion and God as a weapon, right?
Yeah,
To get ahead of it, right?
yeah,
Of their own
exactly.
agenda. So we start to turn against religion. And I have this theory where I feel like technology, the worlds you're building, when we
Yeah,
get there, we might lose God. Like God, AI will be the next Jesus if we're
yeah,
not careful, right?
yeah. That's a possibility. That's the danger of it.
Yeah, because if we merge too much into technology, right, well, we're going to lose that
Yeah,
spiritual side of us.
yeah. What's the limit of it?
Yeah.
We can't tell where that is going to take us.
So
That might be dangerous.
your message, Lazaro said, disconnect. Everybody disconnect
Disconnect. Sometimes, every now and then.
every
Maybe
now
on
and then.
Sundays. Sundays. Choose a day where when you disconnect from technology a bit.
Yeah,
And
get back to
I'm not the
it.
only one saying this. I see all the time on Twitter and Web3 people especially. They really believe that there has to be one day, at least one day in a week, that you keep it for yourself to spend time with your family or your loved ones, to go out, touch some grass, as they say.
Was there ever a moment in your career in Web3 where you felt like your mental health was in danger?
Yeah, it happened. It happened. And many times it happens when I care too much about numbers and I
Mm.
forget what this is all about. This is all about art. This is all about doing what you love. So yeah, that's what I mean. Also, when I say technology can be um, dangerous sometimes when you lose yourself too much in it, because socials, especially socials, are all numbers. They throw them at you all the time. You have to get likes, you have to get views, and you tend to lose contact with what really this is all about. You forget to make art and you start thinking just about numbers. Oh, I have to do numbers, I have to do something that people like. That's dangerous. And it happened to me, and every
Yeah,
time I know I have to disconnect. You see, disconnect a bit and find balance. Get back your balance.
yeah, because like if you look at the room right now, it's just you and me, and some people would be panicking, like, "Where's everybody? Why isn't there anybody in the crowd?" But I don't give a fuck. I
We're
am
just having a chat. We're
exactly,
having a good
man.
time.
I,
That's what matters.
man. That's the beautiful thing. I get on here, man. I love conversation. I talk too
Yeah,
damn much. You know what I'm saying? So sometimes I feel like the glory might come from not caring as much, like you were saying
yeah.
about numbers, right?
You do great things when you stop caring too much about this kind of
Amen.
stuff.
Exactly.
The worst pieces of art are made when you think about what people want.
Right. Right. Because now you're not making art. You're just you're making a business out of it, right?
Yeah, exactly. And if you
It's
don't make art with your heart, you're not making good art. And to make
mm,
art with your heart, you have to stop thinking too much about what people want from you, what people like. You just have to do what you want to do, what you like. That's when you make good art most of the time.
it's a tough line to follow, because
Yeah.
the world of today, you might have some bills to pay, right? Man, I bet you're in the same
Yeah,
situation.
yeah, yeah. I know it's difficult. It's a difficult life.
It's so difficult. It's so hard to play that line where you're doing what you love and you're still
Yeah,
like
of course you have to play. You touched on an important point there. You have to pay bills. That's for sure. You can't forget about that. It's always about balance. I mean, numbers matters. I'm
mm,
not saying that you just have to forget numbers and go on without thinking about them. Numbers have their meaning, and of course, in 2023, you need numbers to pay bills. That's for sure. But remember not to care too much about numbers.
yeah.
Use them as a tool, as something that you can use to how do you say it, to go on with your art and to keep doing
Right.
it.
Yeah, because at the end of the day, anybody listening to this, just remember that when you look at the mirror, you're not gonna see numbers, right? You're gonna see you.
Exactly, exactly.
So do what you love, man. Life is too short.
Yeah, and at the end of the day, nobody's going to remember how many numbers, how many views, how many likes you had. What they're going to remember is what you did, what you created.
Exactly.
That's what it is.
That's where I'm at as
That's
well.
what you leave behind.
Yeah. Yeah, exactly. I when I created the show, I wanted to create great moments. I don't even care about the numbers. I just
Yeah.
love doing this, and that's
And
what I'm
by the
gonna
way,
do.
these are recorded. Am I correct?
Yeah. Yeah,
So
yeah, it's still recorded. Yeah.
that's what matters.
Exactly.
Every time someone wants to listen, they can. That's what
Exactly.
matters.
Some beautiful conversation.
Yeah,
So,
definitely, definitely, man. Loved it.
listen, I have a really, really important question I want to ask you.
Oh yeah,
It's
go ahead.
pretty, it's pretty deep, man. So,
Go
all
ahead.
right,
I like deep questions.
all right, cool. As an Italian, how do you feel about pineapple on pizza?
I never tried it, but I'm hearing
Better than I thought it would.
that's the most important question of tonight. Let me say that. I'm I used to be like, what the fuck you're talking about pineapple on pizza? But I'm hearing more and more about it that I'm starting to be curious about it. Maybe I have to try it. Who knows? It might be
I
the best thing of my life. I don't know.
I thought, listen, I never been to Italy, right? But I love the idea of Italy, and I can't wait to go there one day. I live in France
Oh, yeah,
myself.
definitely, definitely. You have to
I'd
go.
love to go, man. We got to meet up. And so
Absolutely.
I thought in Italy you'd end up in jail doing something like that.
Almost. You better not speak too much about it.
You get cursed out of
You
everywhere you
gotta be
go.
careful.
Get the fuck out of there, mamma mia! You know, guys are slinging
Wow, cosa
their.
stai dicendo? What are you talking about? Cosa stai dicendo?
Oh my! You have to try it though, man. At least once.
Yeah, before dying, I have to try pineapple on pizza.
Just don't do it in Italy, man. You know?
Yeah, or do it, but be careful. Not nobody's watching you.
Yeah, yeah, that's the most important part. Nobody can see you doing that. All right, last question, Lazaro. I ask this to everybody who comes up here. What are you
Yeah.
seeking with your art, man?
What am I seeking with my art? Nirvana.
There it goes, full circle.
Yeah. No, actually, that's like that. I'm seeking my peace of mind. That's what the most important thing for me is to find my safe place. When I make art, that's my safe place, and that's all I seek. Actually,
Mm,
I couldn't live without art, so I have to to make it to live.
amazing. Lazaro, thank you so much, man, for accepting my invitation, for coming up here,
No, thank
giving
you,
them
man.
the time, man. Thank you so
It
much.
was very great. Thanks for
Yeah,
having me.
I hope you had a good time. Um,
Absolutely.
I, I can't wait to see what you come up with next. Yeah, man, stay in touch.
Awesome.
Thank
Awesome,
you,
man.
everybody, for tuning in, and if you're listening later, thank you, and see you soon, Lazaro. Take care, man.
Take care, man. Ciao.
Ciao.
See you soon.